Year 6, my name is Mrs. Rosier and I am Assistant Head Teacher at Cardinal Newman Catholic School, and I'm responsible for Year 6 into 7 transition. So normally at this time of year we would be visiting you in your schools to answer your questions about what secondary life is like and to go through our main expectations of you. Now unfortunately this year the situation has meant that we are unable to do that. So we thought that instead that we would put together a video to help answer some of those questions that you might have. Now, during the course of this video, not only are we going to go through what a typical day at a secondary school is like, but I'm also going to introduce you to your heads of year, or your pastoral progress leaders as they are known. So hopefully you will come away from watching this video with a better sense of what things are going to be like once you've moved up to us at Cardinal Newman. So let's get started, shall we? Where I wanted to start was to make you aware of the main 3 elements of our school ethos that we attempt to adhere to every single day. Now, the first of that is something called Caritas. Now, Caritas for us refers to God's love. And what do we mean by that? What do we expect from our students in terms of Caritas? Well, what we're expecting from you is to respect everybody in the school community and to treat people as you would like to be treated. But this is about love for our fellow students as well. It's about looking out for each other and taking care of each other. And that doesn't just refer to your friends, it could refer to your wider tutor group or indeed other members of the school community who may need your help. So Caritas is the first element of what we strive for every single day at Cardinal Newman. The second element is excellence, which sounds quite self-explanatory, but when we're talking about excellence, we're not just talking about striving for excellence in your work or your homework. We're talking about being your best possible self every single day. So aiming to be the best possible friend as well, aiming to have the best possible attendance that you could have, striving for that excellence in all aspects of yourself. And finally, the last element we have is together. We are a school community, and you will have noticed in our new starter Twitter feed that one of the first things we tweeted out to you was welcome to the Newman family. That's how we feel about you. You are joining our family, our school family, and we are a community who works very, very closely together and supports each other. And that's how we will expect you to be when you join us as well. Now, I'd like to just take this opportunity to introduce you to your pastoral progress leaders, your PPLs. They are your heads of year, and they will be your heads of year for the whole of your 5 years with us at Cardinal Newman. So they are incredibly important people to you. And you are very, very fortunate. Mrs. Tate and Mr. Meany are firstly excellent teachers, but they are also absolutely brilliant pastoral leaders as well. So you're very, very fortunate. You are in incredibly safe hands with these 2 individuals. And I'm very, very proud to say that I get to work alongside them to support you. Now, what I wanted the opportunity for your pastoral progress leaders to have is just to be able to give a bit of a message to you and a bit of kind of support and advice to you.
Hi there, my name is Mr. Meany, and I'm one of the pastoral and progress leaders here at Cardinal Newman Catholic School. From September, I'm going to be taking responsibility for half of the Year 7 cohort that join us, alongside my colleague Mrs. Tate. Obviously, we'd love to be coming to visit you in your primary schools to get to know you a little bit and for you to have the opportunity to get to know us. But due to the current situation, we're not able to do that, so making this video is the next best thing. I teach geography here at CNCS and have done for the last 4 years. Before that, I worked at one of the other local secondary schools at Barndine, and also had a little stint working at an international school in Thailand. I love working at Cardinal Newman. It's a lovely community to be part of. Everyone is very welcoming, very friendly, and we are looking forward to welcoming you to be part of that school community in September. Now, we could go through at this point some very detailed behaviour policies, or we could look at the academic expectations and attainment levels within the school. But I think we can probably summarise that into two really important but very, very simple expectations. The first of those is to be nice, to be a kind person, to be a considerate person, to be a respectful person. If you can show those qualities when you join us, then you will do really well through Year 7 and beyond. The second key expectation is to try your best. If you work hard and do the best that you can do individually, we can ask no more of you. And we have a very experienced and very knowledgeable and very considerate team of teachers who will quickly get to know you and work out what your best is and help you to get to the level that you need to achieve that. So really simple. Be nice and try your best. Oh, and make sure you're in really good uniform when we meet you in September, which I think Mrs. Tate is going to explain a little bit about in her video.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Tate, and I'm going to be one of the Pastoral and Progress leaders for Year 7 next year. So I will be looking after half of the year group. I'm really looking forward to meeting you all. And I also teach maths at Cardinal Newman, so I will possibly be teaching some of you maths as well. So we're sorry that we haven't been able to come and see you yet, but we're really looking forward to hopefully seeing you in September. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the uniform at Cardinal Newman. Now, we're very proud of our uniform at Newman, and all our students look really smart, so we're looking forward to you doing the same come September. So I'm going to show you now, you might know this already, but we have different coloured uniform for different year groups. So you would start in Year 7 with a maroon polo and sweatshirt, and then you move up in Year 8 with green, Year 9 light blue, Year 10 is grey, and Year 11 navy blue. Now, your parents will get a uniform list, so you will be able to see exactly what you can and can't wear at school. But I thought I'd just sort of outline a few bits that you might be interested in. So here we have two of our lovely Year 7 students. This is Frankie on the left and Matilda on the right. And as you can see, they're dressed very smartly in their Year 7 uniforms. Now, one day Matilda decided to come into school and she was feeling a bit rebellious. So she thought that she would change her uniform a bit. So what I want you to do is, in a minute, is I'd ask your teachers to pause the video and I'd like you all to maybe discuss amongst yourselves what you think Matilda hasn't quite got right here. So if you'd like to pause that now, and then you can have a little think about what we could do to make Matilda look a bit better than she does. Okay, so shall we see if you got any of these? So the first one is she's got her phone. Now, we don't allow phones in school. You can have it in your bag and it's got to be switched off, but we don't allow you to have your phone out at all in school. She's got her skirt rolled up, so we don't allow the skirts to be rolled up. The skirts must be a good length, and the uniform shop will help with that. She's got bright red lipstick on, so we don't allow any sort of bright makeup. She's wearing white socks. Now, it states in the uniform policy that you should be, apart from wearing your skirt, black below the waist. That's nice and simple. So basically anything below the waist apart from your skirt needs to be black. That means black socks, black tights, black shoes, black trousers. She's also, you might be able to spot, she's got a logo on her socks. So again, even if your socks are black, they've got to be completely plain black, no logos on the socks. And also her shoes, you might notice that her shoes have got sort of red bits on them. Again, the shoes should be completely black. Okay, and Frankie as well, he decided to come into school not correctly dressed one day. So let's have a pause again and let's see if you can think about how we can make Frankie maybe improve the way he looks at school. Okay, so let's have a look. So again, Frankie's got a hat on, no hat. So obviously, if you're coming to school and you need a sun hat, that's fine, but it needs to go away in your bag before you come into school. He's wearing a hoodie, so we don't have hoodies in school, so no hoodies unless it's a specific PE hoodie that you can wear at your PE lessons, but not around the school. Now, you might not be able to see this, but Frankie's got his trousers sort of around his hips. So I know some of the boys like to do this. So we like to have the trousers on the waist, please, where they should be. He's got his phone out as well. He's got blue shoes on, so his shoes should be black. So I hope that's helpful. That just gives you a little idea. What will happen is if you do anything with your uniform that you shouldn't be, then the first thing that will probably happen is maybe your form tutor will ask you to just adjust what you're wearing. And if you keep on doing it, then you might get sent to one of us, and we will have a word with you, and we'll probably maybe speak to your parents as well. And we might even end up lending you a piece of our uniform if you can't get your uniform right. So it's worth getting it right from the start, but I'm sure you're going to be fantastic. Our year 7s at the moment are still fantastic with their uniform. So I hope that's helpful.
Okay, so hopefully having watched those videos, you now have a really, really clear sense of what those expectations are going to be and the sorts of things that you can do to ensure that you make a really, really successful start with us, but also that you develop into a really, really successful year 7 student. So I hope it was nice for you to be able to see the faces of your PPLs and to get a sense of what they are like as well. So let's move on. Mr. Meany talked about expectations of you as well, so I won't go over that again. But at any point, if you would like your Year 6 teacher to pause the video or go back over any of the sections, please ask them to do so. Okay, so let's move on to what the school day is actually like at Cardinal Newman. Now, what you will notice from the layout of the school day is it is a very, very morning heavy day. And what that means is the vast majority of your lessons are in the morning, and then we have one lesson sort of after lunch. Okay, so how does the day pan out? Well, normally we like to break your day up so that you've got ample opportunities for break, to have that kind of rest, but equally we need to make sure that you are able to move around the school alongside the other students in as organised a way as possible. And at Cardinal Newman, we walk on the left. Okay, so starting with lesson 1 and lesson 2. You will start school at 8:40 in the morning, which may or may not be different to your start time already. And you'll have 2 lessons before we have a sort of staggered break time. Now, what that basically means is different year groups go on break time at different times. And you will be the first year group, one of the first year groups that goes on that first break. So at 10:40, year 7, 9 and 11 are all on break time at the same time. They have different areas that they go to for their break, but they are all on break at the same time. And that's why years 8 and 10 are in registration. So what then happens is you swap over and years 8 and 10 will have their break while you are in registration with your form tutor. After break and registration, first break and registration are finished, we have another 2 lessons, lessons 3 and 4, and there is no break in between that. You get a second break, which is effectively our lunchtime, after lesson 4. And then following that break, it's a 35-minute break, you then have lesson 5 and we finish at 3 o'clock. Now, what I would like you to think about first off is what's going to need to be different about your routine to help you with the school day. Now, for example, you might look at your current school day and say, well, you know, we start at 8:40 already. But what you have to factor in is that you might now be getting a bus to school. How is that going to change your routine in the morning? How is that going to change when you're going to need to wake up? Now, to get you thinking about some of the other elements of your school day that you might have to consider, I'm going to ask you to have a read through a typical school day that has been written by one of our Year 7 students, Isabel. And as you read through Isabel's account of her typical school day, I want you to think of the following, please. Firstly, how would you describe Isabel's day? What adjectives would you come up with? Maximum of 3. What would you come up with to describe her day? How similar is Isabel's day to your current day? And what aspects of Isabel's day are quite different to your current day? Your teacher is going to pause the video again now just to allow you that opportunity to read through the school day, discuss it with other people around you, and to give you the chance to feed back. So we will pick up again in a moment. Okay, so what did you make of Isabel's day? Perhaps some of you felt it was really, really fast paced. Perhaps some of you felt it was quite an exciting day, an interesting day, a varied day. Or perhaps some of you found it and described it as being quite a daunting day because of how quickly things look like they move. Whatever your thoughts were on that, there should be some reassurance in the fact that some aspects of the school day at Cardinal Newman are going to be exactly the same as they are in your primary school. So one of the first things that's going to be very, very similar is that you will be doing a range of subjects every day, just as you are now. They will be in different rooms, but you will be doing a range of subjects every single day. The other thing to bear in mind is for some of you, your start time of the day might be exactly the same. So certain things about the day are going to be similar. The fact that you'll pretty much do maths and English every single day is also going to be very similar to what you're currently experiencing. Okay, so there will be similarities. It's not all going to be completely different. But I'd like to come back to that point about being in different rooms. Now, you will be used to having all of your lessons pretty much in the same room every day at the moment. And when you move up to us at Newman, it's going to be different in the sense that each of your subjects is going to be in a different room, and that's going to involve you moving around the school quite significantly. So you are very, very used to your small primary schools in the sense that if you're in an average size primary school, you may actually only have about 7 to 10 classrooms within your school. If you're a bigger primary school, you may have more than that. You may have between sort of 14 and 20 classrooms in your room. At Cardinal Newman, we have around 140 classrooms to accommodate all of our students, and pretty much all of those classrooms are in use every single lesson. Now, you don't need to worry about all 140 of those classrooms. In your whole school career, you will never be in every single one of them. Okay, but for each of your lessons that you're timetable for, you will have an allocated room that you go to, and you will move with your class to that room for the lesson. So what that also means is different about secondary school is that you're not going to be with 1 or 2 teachers every single day. You are going to be with 5 different teachers, and including your form tutor, 6 different teachers in that day, possibly. Okay, so there are going to be some differences in your school day that will take some adjusting to. Some of you might have already picked out from the school day that the breaks are different to what you're currently used to. So I know a lot of primary schools will be saying, we get an hour for lunch. How can you only have 35 minutes? Well, we have that earlier break in the day as well. So in total, you do get about an hour and 5 minutes in terms of break across the school day. Okay, so that might make you think, if I've got 35 minutes for lunch, what sorts of things am I going to need to do? I'm going to need to eat my lunch in that time. Maybe I need to queue up and buy my lunch in that time if I'd like to buy something from the dining hall. I need to go to the toilet during that time because break times are the only times we allow students to go to the toilets. So that might make you think whether or not you might want to bring a packed lunch with you each day. Would that save you a bit of time? For those of you that are thinking, oh, lunchtime at Cardinal Newman, oh, it's a bit later than I'm used to. Primary school, we have it a bit earlier. How are you going to keep that tummy rumbling at bay? Do you need to eat something at first break as well? Okay, so there are lots of things that you could be thinking about at this point that will help you get used to adapting and changing to this new school day. Some of you may also have noticed that our school day finishes slightly earlier than for some of you. Many primary schools finish at 3:30, for example. So that in itself is going to mean something different for you. It gives you the opportunity to go to clubs, for example. It gives you that little bit of extra time after school that perhaps would be socialising for you, and so on. So what I would like to do at this point, having gone through what this typical school day is like, is really kind of drill down to some of the things that Isabel is talking about that you might have noticed in order to answer some of those frequently asked questions that many Year 6 students have before they come up to see us. And one of those questions is, will I get lost? Cardinal Newman is so much bigger than my primary school. Will I get lost? How long will it take me to find my way around? Well, what we find from our students is it takes between a week and 2 weeks to fully find your way around. But I want to reassure you about lots and lots of things here. Firstly, no one is expecting you to know your way around immediately, and your teachers will know that perhaps you'll be a little late to lessons in those first couple of weeks, and they know to expect that and are going to be very, very supportive of that. So do not worry about being late to lesson because you can't find your way around. Secondly, as I mentioned earlier in this video, we are a community of Caritas, and we aim for excellence and we work together. If you are lost, you can ask pretty much anybody in the school and they would be more than happy to show you where you need to go. So fellow students, okay? You could ask members of staff. We have prefects that are recognisable by their prefect badges that they wear, and they are in year 11, okay? So there are lots of people that you could be asking to just show you the way. One of the best things you can do is group up with people in your tutor group and try and find your lessons together, okay? That's often a really, really good strategy to help you find your way. But I think equally, what we need to make clear to you that while Cardinal Newman is a big school, it's actually a collection of lots of smaller buildings. So if you can imagine, they're almost like smaller schools that build into this bigger school. And you will have noticed in Isabel's account of her school day, she talks about certain room numbers. So for example, she mentions MF2 or MF7. What do these rooms even mean? Well, at Cardinal Newman, we've got several different buildings. So the M building that Isabel is talking about in part of her school day is the St Mary's building. Every single one of our buildings follows the same layout for the rooms in the sense that the first letter is the building. So St Mary's, Mary's, M. The second letter is the floor that the room is on. So if it's MG, it's on the ground floor, Mary's ground floor. If it's MF, it's Mary's first floor. If it's MS, it's Mary's second floor. Okay, and then the number at the end is simply the room number on that floor. So MF7 would be St Mary's on the first floor, room 7. Okay, so think about it as a collection of smaller buildings, smaller schools within. Okay, and that will make it seem a lot less big to you. It really isn't as big as it seems once you're here, okay, and once you're with the other students. So we are all here to support you with that. So there are lots and lots of people, as I said, that you can ask and lots of ways to find your way around. And we also put a map into your student planner to help you navigate your way around the school. Okay. So other questions that students often have based on what they've read about the school day is how much homework they're going to get. So you'll notice that Isabel goes to numerous lessons and you'll notice that she did have homework in a few of those subjects that were set. Certainly you will be getting more homework than you're used to currently in primary because every single subject will be setting you homework at some point. But what I want to reassure you about is that we build you up to that. You will not be getting homework in every single subject to begin with. You will only be getting homework in your core subjects. So those are subjects like English, maths, science, okay, and RE. So we will build you up to your full homework. You will not be getting everything to begin with. But the really, really important advice year after year that comes from our Year 7 students is just try to do that homework as soon as you possibly can. Now, we have ways of supporting you to be organised. Firstly, we've got your planner, which you can write down your homework in, write down your due dates in. But we've also got a system at the school called Firefly, through which teachers set the homework, and it gives all the instructions for the homework, it gives the due date for the homework, and any resources that you need for that homework. And the best part about it is it can be downloaded in an app form, and you can be sent reminders for when certain things are due, when each of those tasks is due. So we've got ways of supporting you to stay organised. But the most important thing is that you communicate with your teachers if you've got any difficulties at all. Rather than turning up on the day, having not done your homework, it's much better to have approached your teacher a few days before and said, look, I'm actually struggling. Could you help me? And to get that support to help you complete it. We have homework clubs as well. Maths and English certainly run homework clubs at the school. So there are places where you can seek help if you do need a little bit of assistance, okay? But your class teacher is going to be the main person to go to if you need any help with homework, okay? So the other question we get asked an awful lot is, it's secondary school, I've heard about detentions, am I going to get detentions all the time? Is that going to be the new normal for me? Am I just going to get detentions all the time? Well, one of the things I will say to you is, if you are sticking to the expectations that we outlined earlier in this video for you, then there's no reason why you would receive a detention. Okay. Many of our students go all the way through their 5 years at Cardinal Newman without having got even one detention. So just because you're going to secondary school, it doesn't suddenly mean there are going to be detentions left, right and centre all the time. Okay, that's simply not going to be the case. So I don't want you to worry about that. As long as you're doing the right things, then there's no reason to kind of worry that you'll be receiving lots and lots of detention. So don't worry yourselves about that, okay? Right, so the next question I'm going to address is, how will I know who my form tutor is? So your form tutor is being allocated as we speak. We're putting together the form groups, and your form tutors are going to be announced towards the end of June and the start of July, so you will know who your form tutor is. You are also going to have the opportunity to meet virtually with your form tutor, and that will be through a video call or it will be through a phone call. So you and your parents will have the opportunity to speak with your form tutor, and that will be another opportunity for you to ask any questions that you might have about secondary school. Okay, and to make them aware of any bits of information you think they should know about you, basically. So clubs as well is often a very, very big question we get asked about clubs at our school. What is on offer? We run about 200 different clubs at Cardinal Newman. They don't all run at the same time because some of them are seasonal. So, for example, our tennis clubs tend to run in the summer. Okay, when the weather is better. But it's not just about sports clubs, it's not just about music clubs. Those two departments tend to run the most clubs for us. In music, for example, we've got samba band, we've got string band, we've got jazz band. There are so many different clubs within music and within PE. But we've also got other clubs. We've got academic clubs like Maths Club, Science Club. Art also runs several clubs, including the Manga Club, if that sort of animation interests you. We have a journalism club. We have a performing arts club. Okay, and Performing Arts Club very, very often contributes towards our school production, which are huge, spectacular affairs that we do every single year and are absolutely amazing. So there are lots and lots of things you could be getting involved with. And actually, these clubs are a really, really great way to get to know and get to meet new people and make new friends. So I would advise you to try something new. Our clubs don't cost anything either. Our teachers are very, very generous with their time, and you don't need to pay for these clubs at all. So you can dip into as many clubs as you want to. So my advice would be to try as many things as possible, see what works for you, see what you're most interested in, having given them a go, and then just sign up for those longer term. Details of how you sign up to those clubs will be given to you once you join us in September. Okay, so the other sort of question that we often get is about Clay, our school dog. And many of you will be aware that Clay is a minor celebrity. He has his own Twitter account and can be seen around our school on a daily basis. And often we get students asking us, do I get to see Clay whenever I like? Do I get to hang out with Clay whenever I like? And the answer to that question is no. Clay is a therapy dog at school, and he has a workload and he works with lots of different students. Having said that, you will see him roaming the corridors around the school day to day, and you are free to say hello to him. But he also has very, very strict rest times as well, which need to be respected. But we will go through that with you when you join us in September. Another question that students tend to ask us is about the practicalities of the day-to-day. So you will have seen in Isabel's day that she had numerous lessons, and that involves numerous books. So students have often ask us from year 6, do I have to bring every single book every single day? Well, that's going to be a very, very heavy bag if you had to do that. So no is the answer to that question. You only need to bring with you the books and materials that you need for the lessons on that day. Okay, you do not need to cart around with you absolutely everything with you every single day. So if you don't have PE on a particular day, don't bring your PE kit with you. Okay, if you don't have geography on a particular day, don't pack the book and take it with you. It's not necessary. Very, very often you'll find that your books have been taken in for marking by your subject teachers anyway, so you won't be carrying very many books around with you. But what I will say to you is please, please, please make sure that you bring a school bag that's going to be big enough to hold A4 size books, okay? So we recommend a backpack to you. It's probably the most sensible, easy to carry form of school bag. What I will say as well is label your bag with your name, even on the little tag on the inside. If you just put your name and your form, if you're a little bit forgetful, I can be quite forgetful, then that bag is more likely to find its way back to you. The same goes for your uniform. You have labels inside your uniform, your school jumper, for example. Just put your name on it in marker in your form, and it'll be much easier if you forget something or you lose something for you to be reunited with that item. Okay, so from us, that's pretty much most of the main questions we tend to get asked. If there are still questions you have about the school day or about the experience at Cardinal Newman in general that you don't feel have been answered within this video, please, please, please pass those questions on to your Year 6 teacher. Some of them they may be able to answer themselves, but others they can forward to us, and we'd be more than happy to get a response to your school to ensure that you get that question answered. But in the meantime, there are lots of opportunities for you to still ask questions. We have as we've already mentioned, an opportunity for you to meet with your form tutors, which you'll be doing so virtually or by phone. And that is another chance for you to ask anything that, you know, either you've forgotten to ask your teachers in your primary schools, or anything new that's occurred to you between now and July. But equally, when you come and join us for your first couple of days in September, there will be plenty of opportunities to ask anything that you would like about the school. We're not expecting you to memorise all of the things we've just talked about in this video, okay? We just wanted to get you familiar with what our school day is like, and we just wanted to introduce ourselves to you so that you had a few familiar faces before you join us in September. You are going to have 2 induction days in September. And what that means is the first 2 days of school are for you only, for year 7 only. So none of the other year groups will be in there with you. And that's going to give you a really good opportunity to get a sense of the school, to get oriented and to, you know, settle yourselves in as best we can. And we will be supporting you every step of the way. That's myself, Mrs. Rosier, Mr. Meany, Mrs. Tate, and also your form tutors, who are going to be the most important person for you, okay, throughout your school life, because they are the person you see every single day for form time, okay? They are in charge of the care of your tutor group and everybody in your tutor group. So your tutor is your first port of call. If anything's bothering you, okay, or if you have any specific questions. But as a team, we are all here to ensure that you have the smoothest possible transition that we can manage for you in the given circumstances. And we are so, so excited to have you joining us in September. And we can't wait to see you. So in the meantime, take care. We will see you very, very soon. We wish you a fantastic summer and look forward to welcoming you on those first induction days. Take care, Year 6, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.